At the risk of being called broke, I gotta ask. Can we all admit that this tipping shit has gotten out of control? And don't get me wrong, restaurants, I get it. Waitresses, waiters, I know y'all only making about 45 cents an hour. And that's crazy. So I get it. The minimum I tip is about 15%, and I could tip up to 100% of the bill. It just depends on how I'm feeling. The drunker I am, the more I'm finna tip. You understand me? But if I'm placing an order online for some food and you're making me pay online, like there's no option for me to pay at pickup, don't ask me for no damn tip. I ain't even seen the food yet. What? I haven't even seen the food. I don't know what's going on with the food. I could get there and it looked like trash, and I'm already tipped 20%. You got to be kidding. What? And not to mention you folks that be providing services. I just seen this video. This girl went to go get a massage. They asked her to pay for the massage before she got the massage, and then asked for a tip before she got the massage, and then got mad when she tipped like 10%. What? That's crazy. What be on y'all's mental for real? Why not just increase your, if you want the tip that bad, increase your prices.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Key. Y'all, can we talk real quick? Why is everybody asking for tips now? Trust me, every time I go to any kind of counter, they definitely turning around that little iPad to make sure you leave some type of tip. And I will kindly put 0, depending on the type of service. Because if it's anything that I'm doing for myself and I'm walking up to the counter, there's no reason to be tipping. But we're going to get into it. Let's get into these clips and see how other people
Say it
feel
with
about
me.
tipping.
If you do not have money to tip, do not come out to eat. Simple. Simple. I'm about to go in for a shift. Let's pray everyone has that same energy. We're going to have a great night.
Let me be very clear. I have no problem tipping at all. I tip for good service. I tip because my food is prepared how I like it. All of that. I have no problem tipping. But when people come on this app expecting people to tip, that's kind of where I have a problem. Because you can't expect somebody to give money and then telling somebody, oh, if you don't tip, you shouldn't come out to eat. I came out to eat because I had money to come out to eat. Tipping depends on the service. And you shouldn't be mad at the customers. And I know there are some bad customers who don't tip, blase, blase, woo woo. I know that. But if you want to be mad at somebody, be mad at the job that you work for, that they don't want to pay y'all a livable salary. Or, and hear me out, you can go find another job with a livable wage. You're choosing to work for pennies and crumbs and expecting tips. You may be the best server in the world. You may have the good customer service that everybody likes. People don't have to tip. And if you're, like I said, if you're living off of just tips alone, you need to find something else.
Did I miss something? Because I'm completely confused. So I just go to Dairy Queen to get an ice cream and a blizzard for Doodlebug. So my total was $7.68. So I gave the lady $8 in cash. So she takes my $8 and she says, a minute later, she comes back to the window. Do you really want your 32 cents? And I looked a little confused. I said, yes. So she kind of got an attitude. Okay. So she closes the window. So I'm sitting here like, why would I not want my change? I'm just a little confused. So she comes back and she's going to give me the 32 cents. And I'm like, do people not normally want their change? Because I'm confused by what the hell just happened. And she says, well, people normally tip. The fuck? What is going on with this tipping culture? I fully understand tipping when I am getting a service done outside of their normal job. Like if I'm ordering groceries, if I am going to a restaurant and they are serving me my food, if I'm at, wherever that they do not make a full salary. What the hell am I tipping you for? You're already getting paid to work at Dairy Queen. So what am I tipping you more for? I am confused as hell. So now she has an attitude because I want my 32 cents and change. Absolutely, I want my 32 cents. The fuck is wrong? Look, y'all have gone too far with this tipping culture, period.
So I'm not tipping anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Used to be you would give a tip if somebody gave exceptional service. When was the last time you got exceptional service anywhere? And it's just expected. They bring you the bill at the end and they're like, here, just fill this out.
And you're pointing
20%,
to
25%. No, you did your job.
That's so
They made food. You carried it to my table.
right.
You got me a Diet Coke. Thank you. That was your job. You don't get 25% because you did your job. And I'm not the bad guy here. I'm not. If you own a restaurant, just tell me what it costs. I don't want people to go hungry. What does it cost for me to get my food, and also so that the wait staff doesn't have to join the cartel, do some Lord of the Flies, Oliver Twist? Like, I want people to be taken care of. Just tell me what it costs.
And if you don't tip them, they'll get mad at you for them doing just their job.
And we just gonna have to fight in the comments about it because y'all got me fucked up. I just seen a video of this dude talking about some no tip, no trip. So y'all demanding tips now for deliveries? I used to DoorDash, so I know how it is. Yeah, you get blessed getting tips and stuff like that, but I never expected people to tip me. That is optional. Just like it's still optional at a restaurant, but a restaurant is different because that's a completely different service. That's your dumbass fault if you sit here and drive 15 miles and get paid $3 because you can choose whether you want to accept that distance for that price. Now, however, if I know that they're driving far, yeah, I'll throw in a tip. But if I'm asking for a DoorDash that's literally 2 minutes up the street and I'm sick or I can't move or something like that and I DoorDash something, no, I'm not tipping you because it's literally 2 minutes up the street. You're still getting paid $10 for something like that. Y'all out y'all motherfucking mind. And on top of that, it's like, fuck the elderly people. Fuck the people that's disabled. Y'all being so damn greedy. The app itself is already being greedy. They charge a delivery fee, a service fee, a tax fee. And then I still have to pay $50 for my food for something that is $5, $10. And I'm paying $50 for it. Y'all are weird. Like, just stop delivering if it's that deep.
I think it's safe to say that we can all agree collectively in the United States that tipping culture has gone way too far. Call me cheap, call me frugal. I am quite frugal, actually. But call me whatever you want to call me. I do not care. I'm done with the tipping culture in this country. So I went to... Okay. I went to go pick up my plant, my alocasia, at this plant store, like a very local plant store in my neighborhood. Say hi, Ali. I'm gonna name her Ali Wong. Back there, as you can see. And I went in there already knowing what I'm going to get. I did not bother anyone. I did not ask for any help. I walked around the store myself. I picked up my plants myself. Nothing. There was no exchange of conversation with a single sales associate. Not one. So I got up there and I took out my card to pay. And this sales associate, who didn't even bother to say, hello, welcome in, nothing. After I paid, turns her little iPad around. And I'm sure this is coming from the people at the top. They're asking them to do this. She turns her iPad around and her iPad had no option but 20%, 30%, and 50% tip. On top of a $30 plants that I picked out myself. And then there ensues a very long stare down, in R. Kelly's word. And I look at her, and she looked at me, and I looked at her. Because what you're not going to do is emotionally blackmail me with my own money. So we're set, what feels like I think it must have been like 5 minutes or maybe 5 seconds. I don't know. It was a state of purgatory that felt forever and a day. Then she proceeds to let out a very long theatrical sigh, flips the iPad around, does something in there and comes back around and gives me my receipt. And so I grabbed my receipt and I left and I grabbed my McDonald's, my chicken nuggets, honey, with the money that I was going to use to tip her. And I was never going to tip her. I am done. This being rude about it and the fact that like almost everywhere you go now, you don't even get a choice anymore. Like, you don't get a choice. You must tip is insane. Why would I tip on something that I just picked up myself? I didn't ask for help. What am I tipping you for? For your actual job? Why is your boss not paying you enough? And why are you working a job where you're so angry at me for like just picking up my plates and wanting to pay? I'm done with tipping culture. I'm only tipping if I'm sitting down somewhere getting service, or my Uber driver. That's it. Most other culture, mine included, where I'm from, is insulting to just offer someone money on top of whatever their job is. Like, people would take umbrage to that, you know? Like, why are you offering me money? Like, you think I'm poor or something? You're calling me poor? Why would you offer me free money? Only in America do we do this nonsense, and it has to stop. There has to be a cap on it. It's gone too far. These companies are dependent on us to pay their employees' bills. It should not work like that. I understand that we all got to eat. I'm eating myself, but enough is enough.
Sorry, not sorry, but Black people have a reputation for not being the best guests to serve in restaurants. So I'm a server in a fine dining restaurant, and a lot of times I like to make videos about how much I made, what my tips were, whatever. And I got a lot of blowback because in my last one, I got a 0 tip on a $250 check, and I made like a little comment saying, oh, love my people, haha, like sarcastically. And people got really offended that I said anything and even mentioned the race thing. And I just want to say that I do take care of a lot of us that do really well. I am probably the least judgmental person you will meet in your life, or one of them. And I will say, just for perspective, if I have 50 tables in a week and 10 of them are Black, I get 5 bad tips. Most of the time, 4 of those bad tips I got are going to be from one of the Black tables that I had. That just is the way that the maths. And then that other one is going to be a European, an African, a white person that doesn't come out much, you know, whatever. But that is the way that the maths. And those tables are probably also the most complicated, the most needy tables that I have. Again, nothing personal, but also have a tendency to want to ask questions about everything in the menu. You want me to, you know, kind of walk you through and tell you what you should get, which I actually enjoy because I want to make sure you have a good experience and I want to make sure you get something you enjoy. It's the best way for me to do it. But, you know, you want to substitute everything. You need all the extra stuff. You need, like, you want me to stand there while you talk to your family and figure out what everybody else is ordering. And then you decide, like, it takes a lot of extra time and energy, okay? Like, this is just my experience. You can agree or disagree, and people are going to have things to say. Go crazy, okay? But this is my experience. Yes, typically more work and typically not as great of a tip as I would get on any other table. Now, this is a stereotype. It is a stereotype for a reason, and we have all the power to change the stereotype. Like, I truly recommend, or I truly believe that we can do better and we should do better. And so hopefully this sheds some light, at least on the situation, especially for the people that don't really understand what it's like in the industry and just get offended because I'm like, oh yeah, you know, my people, but this is what we deal with. Like, this is our people, okay? We can change it.
I asked my table for a tip after they were gonna stiff me, and I don't care how much hate I get for this. Everybody talks about tipping culture this, tipping culture that. No, but let me break it down for you, okay? It's Saturday night. I'm being told I'm going to get a party of 16, which I said, great, bring it on. Let's go. Easy money. So I thought, okay? So the party of 16 gets sat in my section. They take up 3 tables in my section. So when you get sat a party, you usually get skipped in rotation a few times because you're dealing with a big party. I get to the table, I introduce myself, I do my whole spiel. Before I'm finished even speaking, one guy's like, whoa, hey, stop. He said, hold on. He said, you're not going to talk to them, you're going to talk to me. I'm going to order everybody's food and then I'll give you the drinks. I said, okay, perfect. What are we having a drink? He said, no, I'm going to give you the food first and then I'm going to give you the drinks. I said, okay, perfect. What will you be having? He ordered 6 vegetarian combos, which comes 2 veggie patties, 2 protein pancakes, egg whites, and a side of fruit. He said, but we don't want egg whites. All of the egg whites, change them out for hash browns. On those hash browns, I want you to add jalapenos and onions. Great, let's do that. Then he proceeds to order 7 omelets. 7 omelets which come with 3 pancakes each. Okay, perfect. After that, when he gives me the drinks, he orders 15 waters, no ice, 14 hot chocolates with whipped cream, and 1 regular coffee with regular milk. Okay? I said, perfect. I've sent in the order for you. He said, and make it quick because we have somewhere to be. That's where I almost lost my shit. Because how do you come out to a restaurant, order 7 omelets, and tell me to hurry up? I said, you know what, sir? There is other people in this restaurant. It probably won't come out as fast as you'd like it to, but we will definitely try our best. Okay? When I tell you that the kitchen got this food out in like that, the kitchen got this food out quick. I had 2 other servers help me run food. We were all carrying a bunch of hot plates. Took it to the table. They got everything that they needed. Before the food got to their table, they all had already napkins, syrup, hot sauce. They had everything that they could have needed to enjoy their meal. So they enjoy their food, whatever. I'm checking on them. They keep saying everything's great. When it came down to give them the check, I gave the check to the guy who was like, oh, I'm going to order everything. I'm going to pay for everything. Okay, great. I gave him the check. The check was $320 with some change. And when it came to pay, he pays me cash. He gives me $321, which means no tip. And I was like, okay. So I went to the table. There's no tip at the table, anything. I said, okay, I'm going to go ask him. So I went up to him. I said, excuse me, sir. You only gave me $321. I just wanted to ensure that this was accurate. You're not going to leave any gratuity. I just wanted to make sure everything came out to your expectations. You enjoyed your food. Everything was to your liking. And, I just want to make sure. He said, well, I didn't know it was mandatory. I said, no, it's not mandatory. I just wanted to ensure that this was accurate, that nobody took the tip off the table or anything like that. This man pulls out a $50 bill, gives it to me, kind of like, here's your tip and shut the fuck up, get out my face type shit, which I don't give a fuck, because how dare you go out to eat in a party of 16 on a tab of $320 and not tip? And I feel like nobody was going to believe me, so I saved the check. I'm going to show y'all. This check is literally half my size. I'm not even playing with you right now. Like, okay, $320, right? Minimum 15% gratuity would have been $48. So he basically just gave me the minimum, which is fine. But if you don't got money to go to tip on your meal, don't even go out to eat. And I'm not talking like, oh, like if you're by yourself and you get a $15 meal, I'm not saying leave $30 tip. No, like not everybody's set up like that. Not everybody knows the industry. But how dare you go out to eat? 16 people, rack up a tab of $320, be rude to your fucking server, enjoy your service still, and not fucking tip. I don't care. I did what the fuck I did. I don't give a fuck. And my servers, I know y'all felt that shit. Sometimes we just gotta sit here and make sure, because I wanted him to admit to me that he wasn't leaving me a tip on a $320 tab. I wanted him to admit to me that he came out to eat with 16 of his friends and family members and decided not to tip. I wanted him to admit it. I would have been fine. Okay, cool. That's the type of person you are. But he gave me my tip, so whatever. But nobody was going to believe me. Look how fucking big this...
So Americans are starting to tip less. A recent Wall Street Journal survey found that Americans were starting to push back on tip prompts for basic transactions and service charges, and overall were just very frustrated with tipping culture, which has always been around in America, at least in the recent history, but has really exploded in the past couple years, kind of with the rise of those tip screens, etc. And tipping has been around in American culture for quite a while, but in the past couple of years, it has definitely exploded with the proliferation of the tipping screens, just kind of coming out of COVID. And the survey revealed that in response, Americans are starting to have higher standards, to warrant tipping, using cash to avoid the tip screens, or simply tipping less or not at all. And this isn't just about saving money, though I think that is a factor during times of economic uncertainty. I think there is also kind of this psychology piece at play where I think a lot of consumers believe that the traditional boundaries of what deserves a tip has been overextended to transactions that previously didn't include tipping. And a really good example of this is those self-service kiosks where you kind of go and scan the items and then ask for a tip. And understandably, that feels pretty frustrating and annoying that you have to deal with that. And, tipping has normally been guided by widely understood, if not unwritten, rules.
And as these norms have become violated on the tipping end of things, you know, tipping has kind of been inserted in places where it wasn't inserted before, people are understandably getting frustrated by that, one. And two, they're also just getting exhausted by having to navigate all these different social expectations that are just rapidly changing around tipping. So that's leading to people to tip less or not at all. And I was saying before, economic pressure definitely plays a role here, but I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just cutting costs. So yes, I think there might be some consumers that are foregoing the tip just to save a couple bucks here and there, but I think we're also seeing a fundamental shift in consumption patterns. So people are eating out less, cooking home at more, etc. It's also really important to point out that tipping has partly been about social signaling and power relationships. And as the power balance shifts between service providers and consumers through technology and changing economic conditions, tipping behaviors will adjust accordingly.
Baby, let me say this, and I don't give a damn how nobody feel about it. I'm going to say what I want, when I want to, how I want to, whenever I want to. This is my lips, my mouth, my page, my tongue, and I'm going to say what I want, when I want to say it. Let me tell you, this is my biggest pet peeve, and you'll never come out to eat with me again in life. Is if you think when you walk into a restaurant that your servers are beneath you. Nobody is beneath you. Period. Now, I get that sometimes the service is not good. I get sometimes that the attitude is not good. I get sometimes that the energy is not good. I get sometimes that the food is disgusting. It may be cold, but it's still a way that you treat people. It's still a way that you talk to people. I know that you got an extra $100 on your check this week, so you're feeling grand, but nobody is beneath you. I know that you did 3 episodes on Love and Hip Hop in 2007, but nobody is beneath you. I know that you may have on your shiny church shoes today, but nobody is beneath you. We need the waitresses. We need the bus boys. We need people serving our food, and I get it. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to have an open discussion. I don't give a damn what the service is. I'm never leaving $0 and 0 cents. Everybody coming there so bougie, so arrogant, so nasty, so rude, so demanding. You need sauce. You need a new refill. You don't like your food. It's cold. It's nasty. You want more broccoli. You want more rice. You want it steamed properly, and you leave $0 and 0 cents. I get it. Sometimes the service is horrible, and you will not be getting what you thought that you would normally get. You may not even get the percentage, but I would never come in there and think that you're beneath me. I would never come in there and think that you're below on why I'm even in the place in the first motherfucking place, and I can't stand there. You have a lot of people going to these restaurants, and you're nasty, and you're arrogant, and you're bougie, and you're demanding, and you leave $0 and 0 cents. I could be wrong. This is an open discussion. It's never a time in history on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday that I will come into your restaurant and leave $0 and 0 cents and come in there so bougie and so arrogant. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
My DoorDasher tossed my coffee down because he got mad that I didn't tip on DoorDash. So we need to have an honest conversation about tipping real fast. I'm gonna take a seat about this because this is absurd. This is psychotic to me. If you can't tip, you can still order food. If you can't tip, you can still do things. If you can't tip, you can still go out to eat. Tipping is the only thing where people are cowards about it. With everything else, we've had walkouts and boycotts and stuff like that, and strikes about it, about minimum wage, about how we should work harder. If you all stop serving at the same exact time, you can actually get some work done. Did you know that? People are saying, well, if you don't want us to tip, if you don't want to tip, you're gonna have to start paying $20 for a burger. I already paid $20 for a burger, dude. I already paid $20 for a burger. Well, go get the food yourself. I will. I'll walk up and grab it myself. Well, DoorDashers, you should tip DoorDashers because they drive. I don't have a car. What's the point of using DoorDash? They already pay the DoorDashers. Me leaving a tip is out of the courtesy of my heart, and it's a good Samaritan thing to do. I'm not a good Samaritan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna be like, I'm a good person all the time. No, I'm not always a good person all the time. I'm human. I have days where I can't pay extra, and me giving extra money doesn't make me less of a good person in any capacity. It makes me broke. It makes inflation insane. It makes life difficult. That's what it is. Life is hard. My rent is crazy. My bills are crazy. My phone bill is $150. Everything is tough. Everything is difficult. I have no streaming services, and it's still hard. This is tough. Why is tipping the draw line of everything? Because no one on this planet should toss my DoorDash order for not tipping. No one should do that. That's a bit of an overreaction, if I've ever seen one, to come up to grab the order, waste your own time, waste money, waste 2 hours of your day, because it took 2 hours to get my Dunkin' Donuts here, and come up to me and say, you the person I didn't leave a tip? And I said, huh? And then tosses it and leaves. He was obviously having a bad day. Maybe he was fed up. Maybe he needs another job. I don't know. But DoorDash pays you per order. You can see if they tip you beforehand. Just don't accept the order. Have some other poor sucker bring me my food that doesn't want to get a tip. That's fine by me. I used to DoorDash. I used to be a server at Waffle House, at Big Boys. I used to be a cook at Waffle House. I used to do so many serving jobs. And I will tell you one thing. It is so much better as a person to have a better temper about tipping, because it's not going to change unless you want to get up and do something about it, unless you want to complain about it yourself, unless you want to do a mass walkout. Do that. Do a strike. Something like that. You can do that. You have the ability and the option to do that. But no, you want to blame the day-to-day person because you're gaslit by corporations into thinking that we have to pay your wages. It's like the shopping cart situation. You don't have to return a shopping cart. It just makes you a better person to return a shopping cart. But you don't have to. You don't have to tip, but it makes you a better person if you spend the extra money. You shouldn't go out to eat if you don't tip. You can eat whatever you want to. Stop. This emotional gaslighting, this corporation gaslighting about tipping is weird.
Have you seen the video of the woman who orders DoorDash and she decides that she's going to pay in cash instead of paying on the app? The woman, the DoorDash lady, comes and gives her the food and she hands over the cash and she's like, no, don't worry, keep your tip. She's like, no, take it. And she's like, no, I left you a note in your food. The woman opens the note and it says, I didn't do anything with your food this time, but next time, tip your driver. Sorry? So who are you? First of all, I don't know why you're expecting other people to keep your lights on at home. Go for the people that you're working for, because they should be paying you more. It's not right. But let me show you one of our bills, right? So £543 for 4 of us. It was a great night, Delilah's. Honestly, 10/10, cannot recommend enough. You first get charged an entertainment fee, £21.72. Now, you chose the entertainment. Why am I paying for it? If I'm choosing the entertainment, I should be able to select songs, right? But the burlesque dancers, Then they do included gratuity, 20%. Now, that is service charge. That should be where the deal ends. It should end there, £108.60. Now, listen, we're fine with this. We will pay this. Total tax, £55.66. Again, listen, if that's what you need, take it from me. So the balance is then £728 from 543, mind you. Then suggested tip. Now you're taking the piss. Now we did pay, and I only ever pay 18 because I think an additional £100, bearing in mind you've already added 20% gratuity, is insane. Insanity, darling. So they end up getting basically what? I don't know how much. I can't do maths, but a lot more.
Woo child, tipping done turned into a full-blown scam. But seriously, do y'all tip every time, or do y'all skip it when it don't make sense? Let me know in the comments, because I need to know if I'm alone or not. I'm going to say some of the points on the waiter's side is valid. But again, I feel like it's a lot of the employer's responsibility to make sure that their employees is getting paid fairly. Because personally, if you got the money for the food, then I don't know. I just feel like at this point, tips should stop, and whatever amount that you're needing, just have that listed. And tips included. If the burger's $5, please put 7, 8 on the menu. Like, just give it up front, because a lot of people like myself, I like to know what I'm paying for. I like to make sure that I'm bringing enough funds for everything, because I don't like to go out not being able to take care of myself. And or I definitely like to leave a tip, but it's not always mandatory. When I'm at a restaurant, you getting a tip, especially if it's a big group, even if it's not. Restaurants and bars, tips. But like just regular ice cream shops, regular little spots, no. Now maybe like if you're a small business owner and you gave immaculate service and you're just trying to help out that, small business, yes. But anywho, I want to know what y'all think. If you enjoyed this little rant, the convo, or just vibing with me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You already know the vibe. Creative minds, messy times. See you next time.